We're talking about Binance. You might see Binance at the Grammys this year. They announced on Thursday that they're going to be a sponsoring partner of the annual celebration of the year's quote unquote best music. It should be fun. It's a continuation of the crypto attacks, the mainstream trend that we've been seeing a lot of, both at the Super Bowl, we had at the Oscars, and now we have at the Grammys. Interesting tie-up. I think they also suggested that there could be some Web3 initiatives in the works with the Recording Academy, which organizes the annual Grammy Awards. And really, I think it's kind of the first big, splashy, fancy Binance sponsorship deal we've seen to date. Crypto.com has been out there splashing its name across everything. FTX has also been putting its name on mainstream brands. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, this seems to be the first big Binance one that we've seen in the mainstream space. So wanted to talk about this one as a continuation of a trend. Definitely crypto courting a mainstream audience. And I think we're going to see it again with the Grammys and some of these fine artists who are showcasing their trophies. That's Lil Nas X. Tony Bennett was there. We had some people. All right. Anyway, let's talk about it. I'm gonna toss this straight to Jen. This is in the the annals of crypto advertising history. How do you see this Binance one shaking out?
I feel like in 2022, you can't have one of these culturally relevant events and not have a crypto partner or Web3 strategy, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. I think if you don't have one, you've fallen behind. We've spoken so much about those partnerships and sponsorships when it comes to sport. And on this show, we've said we haven't really seen it take off when it comes to music and entertainment. And I think the Grammys have been thinking in maybe of a little bit of a different way about it. So they have their free Grammy NFT that they launched with one of. I think that people can still mint those. Now they've partnered with Binance. What's interesting to me is these partnerships are really about trust, right? Telling the mainstream audience, you can trust this brand because the Grammys trusts us, or some large sporting event the Super Bowl trusts us. But I wonder what's going to happen when people are put onto the Binance brand through the Grammys and maybe other sponsorships like this, and they get all of those news stories about the regulatory uncertainty and them having to leave jurisdictions because of clashes with regulators. I wonder what's going to happen when the mainstream read those stories, and if this is maybe going to have an outcome that they weren't expecting. But that's my take. Adam, I don't know. What do you think of the Grammys and Binance?
I mean, all of this comes back to money, right? You're talking about trust, and we're talking about sort of like the trust that the Super Bowl has when they take an ad from somebody. And I honestly don't see it as a lot of trust. I see it as a lot of money. These are very, very expensive deals. And these are companies that have, some of the largest war chests, out of anybody really. And typically they're private companies too. We're not even talking about publicly held ones. So, I mean, like when you're looking at these deals, that's what it all comes back to for me is, how much money did Binance spend in order to get this headline? And then one other thing, to your point about, about what happens when the mainstream sees those kind of more nuanced headlines that we see all the time as journalists in the space. Well, I think the mainstream doesn't see those. I think that this is the only exposure that they wind up having, to these types of brands. And, it's continuation of trend, I think, as Zach said, is a good one. Zach?
Yeah, it's the first big, splashy entertainment one. I guess I should say Binance has sponsored some of our sporting events. I think there was the Africa Cup that they sponsored this year. They're on a couple of jerseys here and there. But yeah, this one seems to be Binance kind of stepping into the limelight a bit more. They had sort of been shying away from the limelight because they had been, certainly under the microscope. I guess that's the flip side of the limelight coin, right? From regulators the world over. I don't know. Maybe between the tea leaves here, they're feeling a bit more comfortable with where they fit in the world, and that they may not be chased out of whatever the next jurisdiction is in which they're operating. So for them to come out for something splashy, again, mainstream friendly, and that's going to be getting a lot of eyeballs. I guess it's this weekend. Is interesting to me as Binance, remains a big deal, right? They've been able to fly, and I guess they have not been able to fly under the radar because they are the world's largest crypto casino by trading volume. So they definitely have the money to spend, and they're definitely going to be coming out here and saying, hey, we're in this conversation too. You saw Matt Damon shilling crypto.com. You saw, Coinbase ad, FTX ad during the Super Bowl. Hey, we want to be in that conversation as well for, I guess, a predominantly U.S. audience. Bunch of hands went up. I'm gonna toss it to Christy, you
I have
got
a question for Christy.
Oh, okay. Oh no, here we go.
Okay.
If the Grammys go to the metaverse, will you attend?
Actually, I might do that because it's just watching it, right? As long as they're not like trying to make me buy fake ice cream or buy fake shoes, then why not, right? And, that kind of brings up what I was about to ask was, they say that there is a potential Web3 play coming, and I'm curious as to what that might be. We know that OneUp has sealed up a 3-year deal in terms of minting NFTs. So I'm curious to see what exactly their next move, what they're going to do. If it's not going to be issuing NFTs, what is Binance? I mean, not that Binance issues them, but you know what I mean. If we're not talking NFTs, are we talking metaverse next year? That could be interesting.